and welcome to episode 18 of the Noble Character Crafts podcast. My name is Amy, and I am coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live on a farm with my husband and our 5 children. This is a podcast all about my life as a knitter, a crocheter, and a hand dyer of yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. I really appreciate you joining me today. Today is Friday, March 9th, 2018, and I am so glad to be with you again today. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts. You can find me on Ravelry at Noble Character, and I also have a group for this podcast on Ravelry under Noble Character Crafts Podcast. In that Ravelry group, you will be able to find the show notes for this episode and previous episodes, as well as several chatter threads. In the Ravelry group, I am hosting a make-along, which is called the I Think I Can Make-Along. It is going until April 30th, and it is for any craft or project that you want to try your hand at that you have never done before that is intimidating to you. So if you've never tried a particular craft, give it a shot. If you've never tried a particular skill within a craft, try that out and just tackle it. And that is what this make-along is all about. I am personally trying brioche for the first time, as well as I would like to try a staking project. So just as an example, that's what I'm doing. But several people have made their first shawl or made their first sweater, or one person started spinning for the first time. So there's several finished objects already in the finished objects thread, which is so exciting to see. And then there's also a chatter thread for you to talk about what project you want to try, or to ask any questions, or to give any feedback, encouragement to one another. That is the place to do that. So I would love to have you join us over there for the I Think I Can Make-Along. If there are any makers out there that would like to donate prizes for that make-along, I would be so happy to accept those prizes. You can get in touch with me through my email, which is noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. All right, I'm going to start off with finished objects. The first one is my Rhinebeck is Calling fingerless mitts, which is a pattern by Kay Litton, is the Crazy Sock Lady. She has a podcast as well as several designs. And here they are. So I am so happy with these. They are so comfy, and they're just perfect for this time of year, especially because they're thin. They're made from fingering weight yarn, and so they're not too bulky, and they're just so comfortable on the hand. I use my own hand-dyed yarn on my new Gentle base, which is 100% non-superwash fine merino wool in my Deep Waters colorway. And it has this beautiful lace pattern down the back of the hand. And it's super easy. It's worked from the bottom up. And then you just do some increases for the thumb spot. And then, it's just worked up to the top. And then the top is supposed to be, she recommends that you bind off with a stretchy bind off, but I actually only just did a regular bind off, and it's plenty stretchy for me. So I tried doing I think it's Jenny's super stretchy bind off is what she recommends, but it was looking really, I've never done that before, and it was looking really wonky when I did it. So I just went back and did a regular bind off, and I really like how that turned out. I used size 2 needles, which are, I don't remember the millimeter, but I'll put it down below. And these work up so quickly. I made the medium large size, and my hands are pretty large for a girl, but they fit me very comfortably. They're not too tight at all. They are just so comfy and cozy, and I can't wait to put these to use. I think I'll get a lot of use out of them. So I'm super happy with them. They just work up so quickly. It's so gratifying to work them up. I don't think that there's anything else I can think of for these, but it's a super fun and easy project. I can see this being a perfect gift knit because they work up so quickly, and I think anyone would really appreciate these as a gift. So, my second finished object is my brioche project. Yay, it's done! So here it is. This is the Flaming Beanie by Elizabetta Torrenk. And I am so happy to have this finished. So I again used my own hand-dyed yarn, again in the Deep Waters colorway for the blue. And I used my also another new base of mine, which is my Caring base, which is 100% non-superwash merino in worsted weight. And so I got the Deep Waters, and then the lighter color is called Sings. Here it is in the cake. And I really like how those colors worked up together. Okay, so last time if you watched, you saw that I had another drop stitch and I was able to fix it. It's not very noticeable. It's right here. It's not perfect, but it's okay. No one will ever notice that. I do have 3 mistakes. Other than that, though, I have a few places where my yarn was in the wrong spot. So I have this thread right here. This blue shouldn't be there. And then on this side, I have this yellow strand and this pink strand. But that is not very noticeable, is it? I mean, who's going to really notice that? The fun thing is that it's reversible. So you can wear it. I don't know which side I like better. I can't decide. What do you think? I think I like this side better, actually. I like that white, or the lighter color just barely peeking through. This is fun though too. I really like how the colors pooled together and swirled around the hat. But I want to put a pom-pom on this. And so before I did that, I wanted to show you because I make my own fur pom-poms. So I thought it would be fun to show you all that. So I just bought, I think just a yard or 2 of this faux raccoon fur from Joann's, and I think it's not cheap, but I was making several pom-poms for hats that I was selling in my Etsy shop previously, so it was worth it for me to buy a lot. But you know, you don't have to buy a whole yard. You could buy just a quarter of a yard, I think. I think you can. Anyway, so I used this. And then I cut out a circle, but I have actually heard that you can just cut a square too, and it works to make into a pom-pom. But I always cut it into a circle. I just trace around a small, like, dessert plate and make a circle and then cut it out. The only thing you have to be careful of is when you're cutting it to not cut the long fur part. You want to just be careful just to cut this fabric that's underneath. Then you just use some heavy-duty string or yarn to simply loosely go in and out around the circle. I dropped my needle, hang on. So you just, I just used a tapestry needle to do that. And then you take your 2 ends and you just cinch it up into a pom-pom. But you want to stuff it because it's hollow right now. So just use some filling, some cotton filling. Fill it up. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to put a ton in. I just fill it up till it's pretty good. And just cinch it up. Stuff it in there. Cinch. See that? I'm using my silk based yarn because it's really strong. But you could use Super Duty thread. I wouldn't use, anything that's not, use a strong yarn or thread. And then just tie a knot. There. So you just close up the bottom of it and you have these strings that you can then use to attach to your hat. So then one of the viewers, and I'm so sorry I forget who it was, but I'm going to put it down below. They linked to a tutorial that Very Pink Knits had put up to show how to attach a pom to a hat that is easily removable. So I'm going to do that. So she suggests just using a button to put on the inside of your hat, and then put the button on the inside of the hat, and then use your string from your pom-pom to thread into the button. Both strings go into each of the holes on the button. You see that? So you just string both of your ends of your strings from the pom-pom through that button. And then you just tie a bow to secure it on there. There. I can cut these strings, they're too long. But I suppose you want to leave them a little long so it's easy to tie if you want to turn it around to the other side. So there's my pom-pom, kind of fluff it up. It's kind of big, isn't it? You can always make the circle smaller, of course, to be the right size for you. I didn't make it as big as I would have liked to. I wish it was a little bit, I wish I would have done another repeat of the cable pattern before I started decreasing, but I mean it fits. It just doesn't go down on over my ears very well. But guess who it fits? My daughter. It fits my daughter perfectly. So do you think she'll steal it? Probably. Not really steal it. I'll give it to her probably. It's okay. I wanted it to be like a set, you know, with these gloves. I can wear it. It's just a little bit small. But anyway, there it is. I'm so happy to have done a brioche project, though. I'm so happy to have been able to conquer that skill. And obviously, I'm not perfect at it yet. And I would like to try just a flat project as well, instead of, this is worked in the round, of course. So I would like to try back and forth brioche as well. But at least I understand the stitch now, and it's, like I've said before, not as difficult as I thought it would be. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. So anyway, okay, on to works in progress. The projects I'm going to show you today are, well, the two projects that I mainly worked on this week are both off of my needles, but they're both still works in progress as well. So the first one you can probably see here is my Lily cardigan that I've been working on since January 1st when I cast it on. This is a beautiful pattern by Amy South Lindland of the Amy's Little Kingdom podcast. And this is worked in Knit Picks palette on the Aurora Heather colorway. About ready to start the sleeves with a new skein here, so I have that handy. It's a beautiful green. Love it so much. Knit Picks is having a sale right now on all of their green yarn for St. Patty's Day. Just as a side note, this is one of the colors I saw that was on sale. I am housing this in my beautiful project bag that was made by Marianne of Rock Islander. I love it so much. And I am done with the body. So let's see if you can see this a little bit better. Maybe I'll try to bring it up here. There. So last time I podcasted, I was, let's see, I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was right here. So I was able to finish the length of this, and it just goes past my backside, and then I did a 1x1 twisted ribbing for the bottom there, and then I did that for about 6 centimeters. Yeah, I'm just so excited to have the body of this done. So I'm ready to start the sleeves, and hopefully those will go quickly. We'll see. I am working this on size 6 needles, which are 4 millimeter. The ribbing was worked on size 4 needles, which are, I don't remember, I'll look, 3.5 millimeter. Yeah, so I am just so excited to have this done. I have resisted the urge to cast on any new projects until I got the body of this done, and we'll see if I can resist casting on any other new projects before I complete it. But I'm really excited to have the main portion of it completed. So yeah, I'm just super excited for that. I'm excited to have it. It'd be awesome if I could have it for St. Patrick's Day, but that's not going to happen. It's the 9th. I have not enough time probably to get that done. Maybe, but I'm not hopeful for that. Anyway, yeah, really excited to have gotten so much done on that, and I'm glad that I have been working on that solely. So ever since I finished my 2 finished projects, I've been really working just on this, except for Sunday, which if you've tuned in before, you know that I am joining in the Sunday Doodler Cal that Christy Glass is hosting. And so on Sunday, I work on the Doodler shawl by Stephen West. And that is in this project bag by Allison Barnes Collection. And this is also off the needles. But it's not done either. So on Sunday, I was able to finish the cabled section that runs along the top here. So this project keeper from Amanda of Little Bitty Delights is marking where I was last time I podcasted, and I was able to finish this cable. So I had already had the main lighter section completed, and I was just working this cabled section down the length of the shawl. And so I was able to finish that. And the cables are so huge. I think I want to look and see what the last one was, how many stitches it was. It was a lot. The last one is 17 stitches, over 17 stitches for your last cable. That they got harder and harder as you went. Just the stitches were so tight for me. This last 2 cables were so hard. The last one was really tight for me. I just had a hard time getting my stitches to be loose enough as they were stretching that far across, 17 stitches. So anyway, it looks cool though. I love the look of it. It's such a fun, twisty cable. I love it so much. Because when you get to these sections, you just get, like, this is only 2, it's just one cable, but there's this middle section. It just kind of folds over itself because there's so much fabric in there. I really love the texture of it. So pretty. This is also in my hand-dyed yarn on my Radiant base, which is a 70% superwash merino and 30% silk blend fingering weight. The main color there is my Embrace colorway, and this deep orange is called Enriched. So now I am ready to start the last section, which is a border that runs along the bottom. And I will be using my Honor colorway for that. So I need to cake that up before Sunday so that I'll be all ready to go. And I'm really excited to get that paired on there. Let me just show you so you can have a better idea of what that will look like. I think that will be really pretty together. So yeah, this is going really well. I am really enjoying just doing a Sunday project because it's just really fun to be able to see how much work I can get done in one day when I only work on one thing. So this is also on size 4 needles, which again are 3.5 millimeter. And loving it. I did start swatching for my next project, which is a baby knit that I'm making for a lady at church who has I think it's a great niece that was born in December or January. And so I'm going to be making this. It's called a lace dress body, and it's by Knitting for Olive. Do you see that? It's so pretty. And I'm going to be making the 9-month size. I have this in my Tuft Woolens project bag. Okay, I am using Knit Picks Lindy Chain in the Sage Brush colorway. And this yarn is such an interesting construction. It is actually a chain of thinner yarn that is somehow looped into a chain. It's fingering weight. It is 70% linen, 70% linen and 30% cotton. And yeah, I love the color of that. And I started swatching on special needles that I had to order just for this project because my ChowGoo interchangeable set does not come with 2.5 needles, which are 3mm, and that was what was recommended for the pattern. But I am swatching, and I decided that since I was making up a swatch, I would make it a little bit bigger and then just make this into a dishcloth, because I think that this will make a really nice dishcloth. But I'm not getting gauge. I haven't worked very much, but I just counted and I need to go down in my needle size anyway, so I probably wouldn't have had to order these needles, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll use them in the future. And I'm glad that I'm not getting gauge because I wasn't liking the fabric that was making. It was too loose for my taste. I was hoping it would be a little bit tighter. My stitches are looking really uneven in this yarn, so I'm hoping that going down a needle size might help that. I don't know. But now my dilemma is, I really think this will make a nice dishcloth. Should I continue making this dishcloth? But then I might run the risk of running out of yarn. I did get, for the size I'm making, it says I need 150 grams. And I did get 3 balls, which they're 50 grams each. And the pattern says that you would need 150 grams for the 9-month size and the 12-month size. So it sounds like I have extra yarn anyway, but I'm thinking if I make a dishcloth, I don't want to run the risk of running out. But I would hate to rip that out when I can just use it to make a dishcloth. So I think what I'll do is just use a second skein and swatch it up and on a smaller needle and see if I get gauge with a smaller needle. And then I will just save this for the last one, and maybe I won't need it, and maybe I can pull from the outside and just save this. We'll see. Anyway, I am actually really excited though to have a dishcloth out of this thinner yarn because I do love handmade dishcloths, but they always seem a little bit clumsy and bulky to me because the ones that I have made are with worsted weight, and it's just too thick, I think. I mean, they're okay, but they're just so much thicker than a store-bought washcloth. And I don't know, I think I would really like to have a thinner washcloth. So since this is fingering weight, I think it would make a really nice weight for a dishcloth. So anyway, and I think that this linen would be okay for a dishcloth, wouldn't it? I think so. We'll see, I guess. But anyway, I'm excited to get started on this project, but I need to get gauge, so I'll work on that a little bit more. So those are all of the works in progress that I have touched this week. I guess I did do just a few rows on my socks, but it's not enough to show you. Just like a couple of rows while I was waiting in the car one day. So not for very long. So I didn't get a ton of work done on them. Okay, I did want to show you that I have received the very first square for the 2018 collaboration Afghan, and I'm so excited about it. Yay! So if you have not heard of this collaboration Afghan, I have teamed up with 48 indie dyers to have them pick a colorway from their shop and stitch up, either crochet or knit, a 7-inch square and mail them to me. And then I am going to be stitching them all together into an Afghan, and I will be sending that off to Lisa, who heads up Indie Untangled, to the trunk show that she has at Rhinebeck in October, and it's going to be on display there, and then she is planning to have it raffled off at Indie Untangled. So if you attend the trunk show, you can have a chance of winning it. So that's super exciting. And I did just get the finalized list of all of the indie dyers that are contributing to the Afghan finalized this week. So I'm so excited to have everybody on board for this project. This first square that I have received is so beautiful, isn't it? This is from Melissa of Dye is Cast Yarns. Oh, it's always blown out. There you go. And this is on her Meet Me at Midnight colorway. Isn't that beautiful? I love the texture of that stitch that she has done. So beautiful. I'm so excited for this. And I'm very excited to be able to show you the squares as I receive them. And it will just be a joy to see each one come in and see the different stitches that people work up and the different colorways that they choose. And I just think it's going to be so incredible. I'm not going to share with you all of the people that are contributing, but of course you will see as I receive the squares. So that will be exciting to show them off as they arrive. Thank you so much, Melissa. This is so beautiful. And so exciting to have the first one. All right, the last thing that I have to show you today is a shawl kit. I show every week, I try to show a set of 3 skeins of yarn from my Etsy shop that could be used for a shawl kit. So I have a couple of new colorways to show you this week, and I have paired them with the fairly new Healing colorway that is blowing out a lot. It's not quite that saturated. That's crazy how much of a difference that is from what I'm seeing to what you're seeing. That's a little better, but it's still not quite that bright pink. It's more of a paler pink, but anyway. So this is the Healing colorway that I collaborated with Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady podcast. She designed a sock pattern called Katie's Socks that I dyed this up specifically for her to match the breast cancer awareness ribbon. And then 50% of the proceeds from both my yarn sales and her sock pattern sales are being donated to breast cancer research. So I just want to thank everybody who has supported this effort. I have had so much support for this project, and I'm so thankful for that. And anyway, I thought I came up with these 2 other new colorways, and it pairs really well with the Healing colorway as well. So I thought I would put those together for the shawl kit for this week. So the 2 new colorways here are, this one is called First Fruits, and it's just a light rosy pink color for the base, and then it has speckles, and it's painted with pinks and purple and deeper plum, and it's speckled with some green and some red. So it's a really fun colorway. And this is on my Twinkle Toes base, which has some gold stellina in it. And then the other new colorway that I absolutely love is called Gaze. And it too is not quite that bright in person. That's better. That's really good right there. So it's just a beautiful, really pinky purple color that I absolutely love. So anyway, here is that set again. That would be a fun, vibrant shawl, wouldn't it? So anyway, you can find all of my hand-dyed yarn on all of my bases in my shop. I have all of my colorways available at all times on all of my bases. So please head over there if you have any interest in any of my colorways. And I did, like I showed you last week, I did purchase a new base, which is the MCN base, a merino cashmere nylon blend, and I just ordered that yesterday. So that should be arriving in the next week or so, and then I'm planning to add that to my shop as well. So be on the lookout for another new base in my shop. I have like I said, resisted the urge to cast on the shawl that I showed you I was going to be working on. I am just itching to cast it on, but I really wanted to put some more work into this cardigan, and I knew that if I cast on another project, I would not get it done anytime soon. So this cardigan, so I just wanted to hold off on casting it on, even though I am just itching to try that new base and to get started on that beautiful shawl. But anyway, as you can see, it's a sunshiny day here. The weather has warmed up quite a bit. We still have snow on the ground, but it's not terrible. It's not bitterly cold anymore, and there's definite signs of spring. We have seen robins. This last weekend we went over to Iowa. We crossed over the Missouri River and went into Iowa, which is not far at all. And we went over to a state park that has a migration of snow geese going through there. There are over 7,000 snow geese at this state park, and it is just incredible. It's an incredible sight. It's an incredible sound because they're all so loud, and it is so fascinating to see. So we took our kids over there. It was a madhouse because it's like the humans are migrating to see the birds that are migrating. And anyway, but it was such a fun thing to see. The snow geese would, they're all on the water, but then once in a while big, huge group of them will get up and fly across, and it really does look like it's snowing, which I guess is why they're called snow geese, because they are white and it just looks like it's snowing. It's amazing. It looks like a blizzard. Unfortunately, I did not take my camera to the park to get any videotape of them, but I will try to link to maybe a YouTube video that shows the snow geese in the show notes, so if you're curious to check them out. Anyway, that was super fun to be able to go and see them, and we have just really had a lot more time outside lately, and which is such an enjoyable thing to be able to get outside and enjoy nature. So we have been doing great, and I thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And if you would like to subscribe to this channel, I would appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great week. Bye.